Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome to my very first rebuild series. This is with the NBA Detroit Pistons. I had a tangle, whatever you want to call it. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do this series with the Atlanta Hawks or the Detroit Pistons, but I really wanted to give myself a challenge, so I decided to go with Detroit. They have a few pieces, as you guys already know. We have Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey. But I mean, we need a fresh start, honestly. Let's be completely honest, you know what I'm saying? We don't play too much defense, you know what I'm saying? We was dead last in the power rankings. Don't have too many shooters, so this should be an interesting series, and I'm excited to bring it to you guys. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. We dropping videos very often, very often. But anyways, let's go and just jump right into it though. We're starting in the today's era right now with the playoffs. We're going to start pretty much in the offseason, or at least the offseason it is for us. As you guys can see, I went with Jack Move 916 on the draft class because I wanted a realistic draft class. I don't want to fake anything. I want to make this as realistic as possible. Looking at the draft board, of course, you got Alex Starr, you got Rob Cunningham, DJ Wagner, and a lot of good choices to really choose from as far as who I want to develop on my team. But go ahead, looking at the power rankings right now, you can see that we were all the way at dead last. Like, that's embarrassing. I'm not going to lie. We definitely got to make a change. Some of these players are not going to be on the team next year. But it'll be really interesting to see how I end up, going about it and choosing who I will end up drafting. And I feel like that's going to also dictate a lot as far as who will I be drafting and who will not be on the team next year. James Wiseman, he has a very high contract on my team, and I wasn't too sure if I wanted to keep him around or not. But you guys will have to just wait and see how I ended up playing out, though. But looking at the roster right here, we're pretty young. We are pretty young, I'm going to be honest. But as you can see, James Wiseman, he has a pretty, crazy contract. Let's just be honest. He has a pretty crazy contract. I wasn't too sure how I wanted to go about it, but, y'all will end up seeing what I ended up doing, though. But as we skip into the playoffs, let's go ahead and see who ended up winning it. You got the New York Knicks, who actually swept the Denver Nuggets. Very surprising, if you ask me. I mean, not that they won, just the fact that they swept the Nuggets. Anyways, though, they are the NBA champions. And let's just go ahead and just simulate more so into the offseason. We going into the offseason, though, going to player retirements. Look who they had as retiring already. LeBron James, which, honestly, me personally, I had to take him out because Bronny, not this year, man. Bronny's getting drafted this year, so, it wouldn't be a good idea to see him, actually retire, especially if not, even in real time, he's not even retiring with Bronny's, about to go into the league. But anyways, though, fast forward, man, there are a couple rule changes. Well, not even a couple, just really one. An increased salary cap of $15 million, which me personally, I am not mad at because, boy, we need to sign some guys. Looking at the draft lottery, though, the New York Knicks and the Houston Rockets were the top picks to actually get the very first round overall pick. Looking at it right now, though, it was also the Trailblazers who had a very good chance as well. But we just scrolling down pretty much trying to see. And I'd be completely honest, I did not see the Detroit Pistons at all in the predictions, which is kind of scary to me because, we need all the help we can get. But pretty much scrolling down, the Spurs, the Hornets get number 6, and now we started to go a little slower with number 5 going to the Washington Wizards. Be interesting to see who they end up picking up. Number 4, who do you got? The Toronto Raptors will be the number 4 pick. Still no Detroit Pistons. And just as I thought that we wasn't going to end up being on there, the 3rd is the Houston Rockets. Looking at number 2 right now, let's see. We end up getting the number 2 pick in this next year's draft. Very crucial, and we will end up having to see who do we end up picking up. And with the number 1 pick, the Trailblazers will end up getting the very first pick. So they will have first dibs on whoever that ends up getting picked. And, it should be interesting to see what route they will end up going with. Now, looking at the draft combine, me personally, what I was looking more so into is who can shoot the 3. We were one of the last teams who couldn't shoot any threes, and, that was a big deal breaker for me. Me personally, as a coach, as a player, I really want to be able to have guys on my team that can shoot. I want to be able to run down the court, you know what I'm saying? And we are a very scrappy team. So looking at a couple of the player options that I wanted to go with, you got Rob Dillingham, of course, who had a ceiling of Baron Davis. That was interesting, I'm going to be honest. You got Tyrese Prosper, who I had an option to go with. I wasn't too sure if I really wanted to pick him just yet, though. I was kind of indecisive because he has a high ceiling, but it can very much so go left because of, I don't really know, with me having the second pick in the whole draft, is he, top 5 caliber. Then, of course, you got Alexander Sarr, who is the 7-1 international player out of France, who pretty much will always end up having more than likely the best season out of all of these guys. And, of course, you got DJ Wagner, who is the teammate of Rob Dillingham. I was pretty much unsure as well if I wanted to pick him because looking at as far as how much he was being able to shoot and how he did in the combine, I kind of got iffy and I was too nervous. So we'll end up seeing who do we end up going with, though, because I still, at this point, haven't decided. We jump into the draft, though, looking at the very first pick going to the Trailblazers is Cody Williams from Colorado. I was a bit surprised, I'm going to be honest. I know he was the number 1 pick on the draft board, but him going number 1 was a bit concerning to me, but that's not my team, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to worry about the Detroit Pistons. We have already a lot to worry about in itself. So now that I'm at the second pick, I'm pretty much trying to decide who exactly do I want to go with. I pretty much took out Tyrese Prosper, at that point, and, shorted it down to 3 players: Alexander Sarr, DJ Cunningham, and, of course, Rob Dillingham. Now, pretty much what I've decided and what I was kind of like trying to figure out what should I do is, if I do end up getting Alexander Sarr, we won't have a 3-ball guy on the team. So pretty much what I did end up going with was Rob Dillingham. And pretty much I was just going to end up looking to see who exactly could I get in free agency as far as a big man. We can get maybe a veteran or just a young guy who, already has a lot of potential. Looking at what Rob Mahoney said, he said we are getting Rob Dillingham for insurance just in case Cade Cunningham doesn't sign, which I very much so hope that he ends up signing. That would be a bit crazy, I'm going to be honest, though. Going into free agency, though, as you can see, we got Matisse Thybulle to go ahead and have a little bit more defense on our team. We need defense, badly. You see Kai Jones on there as well that we ended up signing. But I'm actually going to end up not signing him in the long run. LeBron ends up going back to the Lakers. You see Pat Bev ended up going to the Spurs. And, we need a couple more guys. It's not going to just cut it by just getting Matisse Thybulle. So we tried to go ahead and offer Gary Harris. Gary Harris is another 3-ball, 3-and-D guy who really we can use a lot on the team. There was a couple other players that I ended up trying to go with, which was OG Anunoby, who ended up getting signed to the Thunder, which is, that's okay. And then I started looking at the James Wiseman pick. He was the one that in the very beginning, I was unsure if I really wanted to keep him around, especially because of how big of a contract he ended up having. But day 2 ends up going by. We signed Grayson Allen as well to the team, which is a very good pickup. Another 3-and-D guy that we really needed who can play defense. The big thing on our team was defense. We allowed, I believe, 4th in the most points in the whole entire NBA, which is a bit embarrassing. No, not if, a bit. That is very embarrassing, extremely embarrassing. But anyways, though, looking at it, there are a couple more guys that we're going to end up losing, which was Gary Harris. He ended up signing to the New York Knicks, which, unfortunate, but it's what happens. We're going to end up seeing him at some point later on in the season. Looking at a couple more pickups, who else got offered? I don't really know, honestly. I wasn't really paying attention to that part, I'm going to be completely honest. But I did not even notice that Simone Fintencio wasn't even on our team anymore. So what do? I end up going to sign and try to offer Luke Kennard to our team, who used to be on the Detroit Pistons in the very beginning, but he kind of left and went to, I believe, what was the Clippers? The Clippers, I believe. As you can see, we also looking to get Precious Achiuwa, who will be a great defender inside the paint. That would be a major pickup for us. And as you already know, we got Jalen Durant, who is one of the best defenders, best rebounders in the league right now. Cam Reddish is another guy that I ended up looking at. Wanted to get him to the team. We got to see if he ends up signing, though. And looking at day 3, we signed Matt Tebow, Grayson Allen, Precious Achua, no Cam Reddish though. And that's pretty much the new picks that we ended up going with. It was a bit unfortunate that we couldn't get Cam Reddish though, because that would have been another great pickup. And you guys may be thinking, why am I getting so many forwards? Man, we need all the depth we can get, honestly. We need all the depth we can get. And pretty much, I know you guys don't really see Luke Kennard. You can see that he kind of declined the offer. But what I ended up doing was I ended up going with him in free agency. I ended up going to get him in free agency because I did see that he was still available. We also signed another D-League guy, Stan Clayton, out of Los Angeles. He was on the Lakers. We got Cameron Payne that we was trying to end up getting, but we didn't end up picking him up. We also wanted Garrison Matthews, but he didn't end up going to the team, which is all okay, you know. It is what it is. But looking at the Summer League roster, you got Jalen Duran, you got Thompson, Jaden Ivey, you got Cesar, you got Rob Dillingham, Stan Clayton, and then you got Adas Marai, who I also drafted, as well as Matthew Cleveland. And it will be the first game of the Summer League. You got the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Detroit Pistons. The Memphis Grizzlies they drafted Donovan Clingan, and they also drafted the other guy, Tijan Salon, who is another overseas player. And this team is pretty solid. They're stacked all around. It'll be very interesting to see how this first Summer League game plays out, which will not be in this video. It will be in the next video. They got Josh Christopher, Gigi Jackson, and plenty other players that can easily get the dub for their team. And on our side, of course, we got a couple guys. We have 3 starters, actually, who will be playing in the Summer League, which, in my opinion, I'm not mad at it at all. We need all the players we can get. But until then, though, the next game, of course, we'll be playing the Summer League Memphis Grizzlies. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for that. But until then, I hope y'all enjoy it. We will be playing that game. Honestly, all the highlights in the next season episode. But it's your boy Caprice the Great, and I'm out. No cap.